What's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here of Marty Music, my brand new project. Thanks so much for the support. In this video, which is a Gear Thursday video, I'm going to cover the sound of the Purple Haze solo, specifically that spacey octave fuzz kind of sound. So I'm going to use some pretty basic pedals, but the concept is always going to be the same. So you need some kind of fuzz octave. Now, Hendrix used the fuzz Octavia. The sound I used in that intro there was a full tone Octafuzz pedal, which is maybe a middle range price. But I'm also going to show you a tone with a multi-effects pedal, and I'm going to show you some other tones and effects that I'm using to just kind of round out the sound of that solo. So the first thing, you see this amp right here. It's a divided by 13 CJ11. Now it is a fancy boutique amp. However, what I'm getting from this is a clean tone. So any kind of a basic Fender Blues Deluxe will do, or any kind of clean tube amp. So if you hear my sound here, that's the sound I'm starting with. I didn't change anything on the amp, where the EQ is all pretty much 12 o'clock. The volume's not even very high, and I've got this clean tone. So any clean tone will do. I'm also using a Fender Stratocaster, and I think the most affordable guitar for the price would be a used Fender Stratocaster that was made in Mexico. You can find really good deals on those guitars. They sound great. You can find them on sites like eBay or Reverb.com. I'm using my Strat right here. One thing that I found to get the closest tone to that solo is I am using the neck pickup of the guitar with a fuzz octave effect. So if you hear the back pickup, now you hear the neck pickup. So I'm going for the warm tone there. So now we're going to look down at the octave fuzz. What I have here is called the Octafuzz, originally enough, made by Full Tone. I don't remember how much I spent on it, but I know it wasn't that expensive. Once again, used on Reverb.com is a great way to look for one of these. But here's what I found. There's a few little options here. One option is with octave or without. I'm obviously going with the octave, but without, it serves as a regular fuzz pedal. A trick that I believe, maybe it was Joe Bonamassa that talked about this, but Gary Clark Jr. uses this pedal a lot. I know that. So what I found is this boost with the octave up, I crank it all the way. Volume, I just kind of settled in. But watch what happens if my guitar is cranked all the way up and the boost is all the way up on the Octafuzz. Not what we're going for, right? So the trick that I found is you crank that all the way. It's making quite a bit of buzz, isn't it? And then turn the volume all the way down on the neck of the guitar. So I have the fuzz octave cranked all the way, and I got the volume turned all the way down, and then I'm going to play a little bit in the E minor pentatonic scale and start turning it up. A little more. And what you'll find is when you turn it too far up, it just gets totally oversaturated. So turn it up a little more. Turn it all the way back down if you go too far, and just keep bringing it up. And to get, I got a little loop going. That I can play it over to make sure it's cutting through. I just turn it up a little bit. So that's just a clean tone on the amp. The Octafuzz cranked all the way up, and neck pickup. Start to turn the volume down to get a bit of that cool sound. And I find that the effect works better on the higher strings. So that's a little tip. Now, however, even though I'm now getting kind of a little more accurate and just fun sound that I can mess with. Something to check out is, rounding out the tone. And we can do this a ton of different ways. I'm using a reverb pedal. Now, this guitar amp does not come with reverb, so you could do it that way if you had an amp with reverb. I don't have reverb on this amp, so I'm using the Strymon Blue Sky reverb pedal. Now hear it with just the clean tone and the dryness. Now I'll turn that reverb pedal on, and I just have it set a very light setting on a spring reverb to kind of emulate a amplifier's reverb. Can you hear that? Here it is again without. Very dry. With. So now hear it with the fuzz. I'm going to turn the volume down. Without. With reverb. So that rounds it out a bit. It adds a little breath to the tone. Now next, what I'm using, and you could use a basic delay stomp box. Right now I have it going through my Line 6 green pedal that you've seen so many rock stars use it. What I'm doing, and I'm going to turn the other effects off, is I have a setting here that's just a light slapback. So if I turn the guitar all the way up, you hear that? So the idea is to go for about 1.5 repeats, and sometimes that's referred to as feedback with reverb, but we want about 1.5 repeats. So when I hit down, I hear a little trail off echo, and it's really great for the single note kind of vibe. It's just a little bit of echo, but it doesn't ring out forever. And the original guitar signal is hotter or louder than what we're getting from that reverb. Turn it back off. Back on. And solos like Stairway to Heaven have this. Purple Haze has it. A lot of classic lead guitar work has just a slight little bit of echo where if it's within the whole mix of the song, you don't really hear it, but it really adds a lot. So now I'll add the reverb. So it's echoing, and then it's going into the reverb and just washing out, rounding out the sound a little bit. Okay, now I'll add my final Octave fuzz again, turn the guitar's volume all the way down. All right, so you could actually get reverb, delay, and the Octave fuzz all with a multi-effects unit. And so the one I like, it's not my favorite for lead sounds, but the Line 6 M9 pedal, I'm not endorsed with them or anything. It's just a great versatile pedal, especially for me making videos all the time. Sometimes I just want to get one sound. So I have a setting already that I tried to emulate the Octave fuzz sound. And so I've got the mids about halfway, the treble about halfway, the output about halfway. And then as I adjusted, I turned the treble down a little bit. It's a little bit brighter than the Octave fuzz. And I turned the bass up a hair because of that same reason. Then with this Octave fuzz setting, I turned the drive all the way up and used the exact same technique. And the exact same delay settings are also in this stomp box, but I don't have it set up that way, so I'm just going to cheat for a second and go to the line 6. So there were a few options to get that Purple Haze solo. The actual lesson on the solo is coming up right after this video on the next day, depending on when you watch it, but there should be a link for the lesson down below. Thanks again for supporting Marty Music. Every Thursday is another gear video, and I can't wait to see you in another video soon. Take care.